Okay, and Salaka, just really quick, if I may, did you want to take the class? Okay, okay, sir, I'm gonna go in one second. I'm just gonna ask. Salaki Adawan, if I may. Sorry, and just per protocol, did you want to take the class? Just asking. Okay. Okay, Khan Thought. Salaki. All right. Shalom, Israel. All right, Yahweh Bashim Yahshai Barakathum to all the brothers, Yahweh Shemal Athon Bashim Yahshai to all the sisters, Priest and Officer Shariwana, the Commanding General Yohana, and we are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started at a 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. All right, today is Monday night history class. Salakia for the delay, we had a couple technical difficulties, but we're going to get it in. We're going to be live again next Monday from 7 till 9. All right, so make sure you stay tuned in with us. Okay, so again, it's the Monday night history class. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. All right, we should be live in Toronto. We're live on Detroit. All right, Shalom Canada, Shalom Detroit. All right, let's get it in. So today, there was actually just a shooting that just took place um, over in a reunion at a place called Africville. I'm not sure if you brothers have heard of that. There was a place called Africville um, down in Canada, over in Nova Scotia. And it was a small community, like all of our communities, no different from Canada and the States. During segregation, you understand, blacks were forced to start their own communities because white people didn't want to integrate with us. And so we built up our own communities. That's how you had stuff like Black Wall Street, right? Tulsa, Oklahoma. We had communities all over. You got a community over in Windsor. It was called, it was on the McDougal Street over in Windsor. All right. We had a place called Africville. And these are just communities that we built up where we came together and we had thriving business, right? We had, barber shops, grocery stores. We had credit unions, as you see in history. Credit unions, we were loaning out our own money to our people so that we could buy real estate, different things like that. And so that's what this place was. It was a place called Africville. It was in Halifax, Nova Scotia. And for brothers and sisters that don't know, is a couple decades after that community was destroyed. The community down there, they wanted to commemorate and share the memories that they had of their loved ones once that community, when that community was there. And so every year they get together, they have a big, just big barbecue and stuff like that. And this year, unfortunately, just 2 days ago, um, as our brothers were gathering together, uh, like a lot of our festivities and stuff when we come together. Um, Unfortunately, 5 people were shot. 5 people were shot. It was a very tragic thing to see brothers and sisters get shot when they're just trying to remember the good times that they had when they actually had a community inside of Canada. Come on, bro. Yep. So yeah, it's an annual thing that they come together. Now, it's not all of Canada that does it. It's just the brothers and sisters that were in Halifax in that community, and they come back together. Which is right now it's a park. What used to be a residential area, now it's just a park. They got maybe a train station that runs through it, and they come together annually. Go. Yep. Right. Oppressors. Yeah.
Everybody knows the story. He walked in the house and he shouldn't even been looking for anything. He shouldn't have questioned her daughter ID. And inadvertently, he thought that she was threatening with a firework. I'm sure you've seen the video. He shot her in the face.
Concert.
So I just wonder in Canada, does
Yep.
are the Canadians privileged to that type of media or those incidents that occur in the States? Do they have the same passion about the travesties that occur here as do in Canada?
So if I could answer that question, what I've noticed, and what the men above me has taught me is, when it says in, I believe it's First Corinthians, where it talks about that man of sin must be revealed. What I've noticed in Canada is that things that didn't used to be spoken about, they're now being spoken about. And kind of concept. Yeah, Salaki. Let me. If you got it. Yeah, it's in the book of Corinthians. That man of sin. You look up man of sin. Because that's an excellent question. And when George Floyd was unalived by that oppressor, I think we damn near saw the whole world recognize the injustice of what's being done to blacks here in America. And so, I remember. Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to ask another question, right? Because of what you just said.
Yeah.
When in your understanding, did the Canadians start to resonate with what we were going through in the States? Because I don't hear a lot of what Canadians go through in terms of being unalived by the oppressor. I don't hear a lot of that over here. And I'm just wondering, I'm sure that's a concerted effort on the part of both, states, countries, so to speak, to keep that from us, you know what I mean? The events that happen in Canada from us hearing about it in the States and vice versa. So it was George Floyd. Did you guys hear about Trayvon Martin?
Kind of.
Okay, you did.
Yeah.
Okay. So what about Sandra Bland?
Kind of. I don't know, that might just be me with Sandra Bland. But the information is getting out. You know what I mean? Like, even, I talk to some sisters in the world and they'll be like, oh yeah, I heard about, so like her name's Sonia, I forget her last name. Sonia Massey. And I was surprised that she heard about it because it's not typical for Black Canadians to really hear about that news.
And that's incredible because, you Black in Canada just like you Black over here.
Yeah.
So the fact that we don't hear about the things that plague us both simultaneously, no matter where we are on the earth, we seem to all face these travesties. So like you were about to bring out a scripture that kind of, brings home the reason why we all face the same circumstances. You know what I mean? I think that's a hell of a scripture. And then another one, Khan.
Yep. And so, Slaki? Okay, one minute. And so the other thing too is, when I was in the world, I work in construction. And so a lot of people in construction, my specific trade, I'm in drywall. And at least in Canada, they always say, if you're a drywaller and you haven't been to prison, something's wrong. That's just the culture of drywallers in Canada. I don't know if that's everywhere, but a lot of people, and just typically in construction, because a lot of brothers, you can't get jobs, just any kind of job coming out of prison. So construction's always available for brothers who are trying to make a larger salary. And so that's just a thing in drywall. So I speak to a lot of brothers who've been incarcerated, they're always around the law and different things like that. And in the world, it was kind of understood in Canada that so many things go on in Canada that's not spoken about. You know what I mean? People speak to, I knew one brother, his uncle was a law enforcement, and he was talking about how he just pulled out a garbage bag of somebody's wife who was chopped up. She was, and this is from Moab. We got a lot of Moab covered in the country. It's very multicultural country, and he's talking about how this body's chopped up, this and that. You never hear about it on the news. So a lot of stuff just typically in Canada does not get reported. And then coming in the truth, you know what I mean, and learning under commanding General Yohana and all the brothers above me, the next thing that I started to realize about Canadian history is that they don't talk about anything. They have you believe, and I was speaking about this with Abawan too, is that they have you believe that they had the Underground Railroad come to Canada, and once you got in Canada, it was this safe, peace-loving place for everybody. You know what I mean? I bring it up with Abawan. They came to Windsor because they came to Detroit, Detroit being a free state. So you had a lot of slaves coming up to Detroit, and then they crossed over to Windsor. They're being bombed in Windsor because our oppressor didn't want us there. You understand? So,
What's the like over here is it's 200 million of our oppressors, and I think it's like 40 million of us. What's the makeup over there in comparison?
So I used to live in Florida, and I think we had something like 10,000 people coming to Florida every day. The population of Canada I think it's smaller than California. And so when you put California, Florida, and New York together, like you've damn near like tripled the whole population of Canada.
Okay, so but is the numbers comparison like over here is like I think it's like 4 or 5 to 1. You know what I mean? Even probably greater than that. So do you know the makeup, the ratio of our oppressor compared to us in Canada? And also I have another question that you can add. Is there like the instances of us being unalived over there is a comparison to what we face over here in America?
So it's definitely on a much smaller scale, right? And our population is a lot smaller. I would have to look up statistically the rate at how we're being unalived to try to compare that. And then for our, like statistically, the ratio of us, I know it's pretty low. And so like I know there's a stat I always bring out. I think Native women, they make up less than like 1 of the total population of all of Canada, but they make up like 90% of incarcerated women inside of Canada. Yeah, it's a stupid number. Kanonkansa, yep. Yeah, our Gadite sisters. Yeah. Yeah, they fill the prison systems. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing for the men, Black, Hispanic, Native American Indian. We fill the prison system. And our ratio of how much we are compared to the total population is really small. It's really small. But I'd look it up to get you the exact statistic. Okay. And so, yeah, so in Canada in general, you don't hear a lot about things that take place in Canada, which is why this scripture right here I find is so heavy, because we had General Muhammad come visit the school. He did a class, I think that was about maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and that was when all those the Gadite brothers' children were being dug up from those residential schools. That was a pretty big story in Canada. And for Canadians to hear that, they never hear stuff like this. You know what I mean? They don't even know Gadites are being oppressed inside of Canada until stories like this come out. A lot of people don't know the struggles of what goes on in the reserves until stories like this come out in the news, right? So a lot of this stuff is never spoken about. And what the Lord is doing is really heavy for our people to see, to really know who the devil that the Bible speaks of is. Okay? If you could read that first, Abalam.
Second Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means.
Right. Let no man deceive you by any means. And Canadians, they have been deceived. You understand? Like it says in Revelation, it speaks about how, you understand, the Most High, oh, how does that go? Paraphrasing it. But basically, our oppressors' deception was locked up for so many years. And that deception has to be removed from this earth. He is a liar. Understand? He's a deceiver. He's been deceiving this whole earth. And that's truly one of his most powerful weapons. Understand? So when it's saying let no man deceive you, like the Most High is really, opening up the veil on blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians to truly see who their enemy is, to truly see who the devil is. Go ahead.
For that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first.
Right. And so Christ isn't coming back until that falling away happens. Right? He's not going to come back until people truly know who that man of sin is. He's not going to come back until the Most High says, like, it's time to get my people. It's time to collect all my people who are truly following me, obeying me, keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. And until that time, like, certain things on this earth have to play out. Right? Keep going.
And that man, and that man of sin be revealed.
That man of sin has to be revealed, and he's been being revealed on this earth. He's being revealed to Canadians. I know I've been trying to teach one of my ribs for the longest time, understand about how wicked this devil, this oppressor is that's over us. And when stories like this comes out, it makes my job a lot easier. I'm like, look, see this going on? This happened in Canada. They got all these children that were unalived on residential schools. General Yana brought that up. They had electric chairs in some of these boarding schools. I think they're called boarding schools in the States. You understand? But all the disgusting things that our oppressor has done to us, it keeps being brought out. And people are starting to wake up and see, like, maybe I should take a second look at who this man is. Go ahead.
My question is in relationship to what you right? Like when I look at like the amount of black and brown people that's standing up for a man like Donald Trump,
Okay.
right? It kind of it discouraged me from believing that they see him for who he is, and it seemed like the further we go on in this society, the more we embrace the more we want to love him, and the more we want to convince him, that you black folks, you could trust us. The step and fetching, it seemed like it's being remixed all over again. So, not that I disagree that the people that matter are waking up, but I slightly disagree, right? And I think it's more like it's a scripture that says, the harvest is plenty,
Right.
but the
Laborers
are few.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, how do you relate that to the population of Canadians, right? In regards to them waking up, it seemed like our people as a whole are, just infatuated with Donald Trump. You know what I mean? And when I see that, that scripture that says that, there must be a falling away first. If that was true, then I don't think we would see as much, support for Donald Trump or either party for that matter. So
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
May I piggyback up? So are you saying that you don't need to fall in the way, sir?
At large, I don't see it falling away. I see a certain brother or sister, even less sisters. I see more brothers, as evident in how the school is going, right, than sisters. But in terms of that falling away, I'm not seeing that yet. It's lucky.
Yeah.
And then I was just going to piggyback on something where you were saying, in certain cases, we might not even see the falling away because the scriptures say 2/3 of us gonna get put to death. Now, in the UPK, we hope that all of us, all Israel, shall be saved. But with that 2/3 prophecy, and I think it's in Zephaniah, sometimes you wouldn't even see it, but you could see certain instances where we are waking up, but it comes with death. Like the scriptures say, in affliction ye shall seek me early. So in the affliction that we going through and getting put to death by this oppressor, we start to wake up a little bit at a time because of that affliction. It looks like it's gonna take a lot more death from this oppressor for us to understand. That's how deep of a brainwashing that we inside of.
God.
In your affliction, you shall seek me early, not find me. Like, you know, like when you go into that jail cell, the killers, like a young thug is up in there right now with a Bible around his neck. You know what I mean? So you shall seek the Lord early, but not necessarily find him. Like everybody that's in affliction, the first thing they, oh Lord, save me. They seek him early as hell, but as soon as them bars open up, same thing.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And so, like for me, the information is to the truth, and
God.
you no matter what, operate after that affliction in that manner that you wanted the Lord to, in that same aggressive spirit that you had in seeking the Lord, you transform that into doing the work like you're doing. Yeah.
God.
I don't see it right now, and of course my wisdom doesn't match the Lord. It's going to, in my opinion, based on what I see and the amount of people I talk to every single day. I can't go to the liquor store, go to the corner store. I can't go nowhere without, if a person mentioned God, got a cross around their neck, I'm like, damn, I got to talk to this brother. You know, and I'm doing that. You know, given all the hell that we facing right now, and all of the affliction that they showing in the media, in the social media, I'm not saying the obvious destruction of the black home, the family structure, how we operate in the public as brothers and sisters. I'm not seeing that falling away. If anything, I'm seeing it exasperated as we move forward. You know what I mean? So I just want to know if it's the same in Canada. You know what I mean? Do our brothers and sisters operating in the same manner in Canada? Are they aware of, you know, how we are being oppressed over here in America, and police brutality, the prisons, the disparaging, you know, housing and credit and jobs, etc.
Sir. And so I could really just say from what I've seen, I find it easier talking to people saying like these are the evils that this man is doing. It's not necessarily bringing them in the truth. You understand? Like it's not, you know, it doesn't mean that these people, like our brothers and sisters, are changing their lives and coming in. They just might see it and be like, you know, well, this is why I should keep smoking weed, or this is why I should keep chasing money. This is why I should keep doing the things I'm doing.
No falling away, no absolute change of one's life. You know, and I say that because I think, and I've watched Canada for a long time. Canada and the brothers over there in England.
Yep.
And where else? We got brothers in London.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I'm familiar with, and I know it's more. I know it's difficult because I believe we have more freedom of speech over here than what you might have in Canada.
We don't have freedom of speech.
Right. You can you just can't get up there and call the oppressor the damn devil that he is. So they kind of stifle the fishing. You know what I mean? It's shocking awe to hear a black man stand up on a corner and call the oppressor what he is to his face. You know what I'm saying? That brings a lot of brothers in the school. So, you know, in the north, in the sides of the north, is where the Lord will begin to raise his people up. But I just wonder, you know, what will it take to get our people that's scattered abroad to realize what we're facing and what they face, and then eventually bring them into the truth. Maybe you should speak about, some of what you went through in order to come in here. Salaki.
Khan, sir. So, I think what the men above us laid out for us, the way that the way that Commanding General Yohana, all the generals on down have built up these schools and raised up brothers, that blueprint works. There's to something you were saying, kind of asking my own experience. I was one of those, bugged out Israelites trying to find the truth. And there was one brother I used to listen to a lot, and he sounded very intelligent. He spoke a certain way, and I was so sure. I was like, okay, this brother, he really understands his Bible. He learned how to speak Hebrew, and he can read the Hebrew and this and that, and he seems to articulate himself well. And so, one time I heard somebody ask him, so, how did you hear about the truth, and how did you come in the truth? And he was like, oh, I heard it from some brother speaking on a corner. He's like, that's how I came into the truth. And so I then asked him a question, and I said, so why aren't you still with those brothers? And he's like, well, I don't believe yelling at our people and telling them that they're cursed and this and that is the right way to go about it. And so he's off and he's created his own, organization trying to raise people, trying to raise people up and this and that. And, something, to me, just hearing that, I'm like, that didn't make sense. I'm like, well, if it worked for you, why wouldn't it work for all our people? So for me, myself, being able, being fortunate enough to find the truth, that blueprint, and I spoke with this a little about Abawan too, that blueprint works for us everywhere. Those curses fit us no matter where we are on this earth. You could be in South Africa, Asia, wherever it may be. You don't listen to the Lord and you're Black, Hispanic, or Native American Indian. Those curses are going to follow you. Our people are struggling all over the earth. And so what I perceive my experience, to answer your question, just my own personal experience, is really just that blueprint that the men above us have laid out for us. Following what Commanding General Yohana and on down, the brothers that taught him and showed him how to build up schools. Commanding General Yohana, he's built up, I think we're up to damn near 70 schools or something. Like that blueprint works. Letting brothers know who they are. Teaching them the truth of the Bible. And I think one last thing too is it's that verse in Psalms. If you could get that for me, Abawan, a broken and a contrite spirit. I think it's in Psalms 51. Might be Psalms 55. And I think I heard Cap Soccer Ward talk about this too when I was a young man. And I think probably damn near all of us could relate to it, and it's just being tired of the life that we're living. Truly being broken, and being at a point in our life where we understand none of the decisions that we're making are working for us. And Cap Hadar talks about this all the time in Proverbs, where it says pride comes before destruction. Like that pride inside Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nations people is truly destroying us. You know what I mean? Yeah, go ahead. You got it.
Psalms chapter 51 and verse 17. The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit.
Yeah.
A broken and a contrite spirit.
Like the Most High, that sacrifice to the Most High. How are we gonna do anything or give anything to the Most High if we're just still gonna live our own life? Like what is it that we can give the Most High if we're saying, I want to go here and do this when the Most High wants us to do something else? You want to chase money, you want to chase women, you want to chase drugs or whatever to, fulfill that lust or whatever it may be inside of you. You don't have nothing to give to the Most High. You're too busy doing your own thing. And even understanding the Most High is like being a father. I have children, so when I look at my children and something as small as I don't want to go to bed, I don't want to do my homework. I don't want to do that. Nobody asks you what you want to do. You know what I mean? And that's how the Most High is with us, is that he has a way of life that's good for us because he loves us. You know what I mean? And so without that broken spirit, you know what I mean? Without truly, humbling ourselves and saying, we don't know what's best for our life. You know what I mean? We don't know the right decisions to make. I don't know who I should marry. I don't know who I should be friends with. I don't know, how to prove a friend. I don't know how to, you know what I mean, really make any good decisions in life without humbling down and saying, Most High, you know what's best for me. We have nothing to give the Most High, right? Keep going. Or was that it?
A broken and O God, thou wilt not despise.
Okay. Yeah, and so to my own experience, trying to answer your question, is really having that broken spirit, just going through hell. I mean, going through hell and being tired of it and trying to look for something better. You know what I mean? Trying to find something better and understanding I don't know what's best for my life. Being broken down, I believe the way the Most High wanted us to. You know what I mean? Like, okay.
If you could break down for me, Psalms 50, verse 8 through 15. 8 through 15.
Let me get there with you. You said Psalms chapter 50,
I got it.
verses 8 through 15.
So I start at 7.
You can.
You ready, sir?
Okay, I'll break it down to the best of my ability.
Psalms chapter 50 and verse 7. Hear, O my people.
Oh, Salakia. Am I in the right chapter? 50. Oh, 7, verse 7. Khan, go ahead.
Hear, O my people, and I will speak. O Israel, I will testify against thee. I am God, even thy God. Verse 8.
Khan. So the Most High, the Most High is saying, hear, children of Israel. Like, pay attention, listen. You understand? He's letting them know that I am thy God, your God. It's a possessive God. He's not the Most High over everybody. You understand? He's our Father, and that's how, we've always understood who he is, right? He's our Father, our God. Keep going.
Verse 8. I will not reprove thee for thy sacrifices.
Right. I will not reprove thee for thy sacrifices. Let me get that definition of reprove. Right. This is a Strong's definition. It says to be right, to argue, to decide, to justify, or convict. Right. To argue or to chasten or to convince or to correct, to reprove. He says, I will not reprove thee for sacrifices. Right. Your sacrifices. Okay. So basically, you can't just give anything that you want to the Most High. You can't decide how you're going to serve him.
So back then, what did we use to sacrifice to the Lord? What did we
When we were obeying him or when we were disobeying him? Oh, Slag, I'm not sure what you're asking.
slot?
Okay, you want to keep going? Okay, keep reading the verse. Right, so Slag, it says, I will not reprove thee.
Think about your definition of reproof. Correct you, scold you, for your sacrifice. And back then, it was the sacrifice to the Lord. It was a burnt offering or something.
Okay, I would have to ask. I'd have to ask the men above me to break this whole thing down.
I think, sir, that the next couple of bars will help you.
Right. So I understand, back during the time, when the Levitical priests are there, right? We have different offerings or burnt offerings that we're sacrificing to the Most High, right? We'll keep going.
I, I will reprove thee for thy sacrifices or thy burnt offerings to have been continually before me. Verse 9.
Right,
I will not, I will take no bullock out of thy house, he goats out of thy fold.
right. Keep going.
Verse 10. For every beast in the forest is mine, and thy cattle upon 1,000 hills.
Keep going.
Verse 11. I know all the fowls of the mountain, and the beasts of the fields are mine.
Right,
Verse 12. If I were hungry, I would not tell thee, for the for the world is mine.
right. So he's saying everything in this earth belongs to me, right? All the beasts I've created, this earth is mine, right? Keep going.
For the world is mine, and the fullness thereof.
Yep, keep going. Verse 13.
Verse 13. Will I eat the flesh of the bulls or drink the blood of the goats? 14. Offer unto God thanksgiving and pay thy vow unto the Most High.
Okay, one more verse.
Verse 15.
Yep.
And call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me.
So, yep,
The reason why I went to this verse is because it's a precept for the one that you
right.
initially where you talk about the sacrifice,
Okay.
a contrite spirit and a broken heart.
Okay.
This verse, the Lord says that, man, if I wanted a bull or to drink some goddamn blood, everything in the earth belongs to
Yeah.
me. I don't need you to provide that for me.
Yeah.
Essentially, is what he's saying.
Okay.
The real sacrifice is what you were breaking down earlier.
Okay.
Is us realizing the condition that we're in, and once we realize the condition we're in, we do what? We attribute that condition to the influence of the people that has that power over us. And guess what begins to happen? His influence, his his culture, the things he love and enjoy, we distance ourselves from it. And then we begin to see him for the monster that he is. So that's the falling away first,
Okay.
and the man of sin being
That's
revealed.
heavy.
And then in turn, guess what you realize about yourself? How much of a bastard you was as well for
Right.
following him. So once his influence and everything is wiped from your from the things that you do and you love, you begin to hurt and to feel ashamed for being such a bastard.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
He falls away, and guess what? His sin is revealed, and you realize that his sin and your sin was anonymous. So distance yourself away from him, and in that process, bad about the life that you've led and the things that you've done to contribute to his society. You see what I'm saying? So the sacrifices of the Lord is a contrite spirit, right?
Yep.
A hurt spirit and a spirit that operates different from what it was before it became aware of the man of sin, right? And a broken heart. That's what the first verse you read. These two go together. You want to always read, because people believe that the Lord wanted a bull or a goat.
Right.
As a sacrifice. The Lord, that's not what he wanted.
Right.
What the Lord wanted you to do is change. He wanted you, and he hit your pockets. You know what I'm saying? He hit your money, That's why he had you kill all of them animals. It wasn't because he needed to drink the goddamn blood of some goat or eat the flesh. It's because he wanted to hurt you, right? The way that you hurt him by disavowing yourself from his rule of law and his authority and his love and his protection and preferring this man of sin. So those two precepts go together.
That's heavy. Yeah. Yeah. The water, sir, for that. The water for that. That's heavy. Good. Go ahead.
If I may, and that's extremely heavy, right? And then being in these worldly marriages right now, most of the time the spouse want to hurt you the way that you hurt them. You know, so they may do something to afflict you, right? So that you can feel the same pain that they felt when, you know, whatever this egregious act that you did towards them.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thought I had on that too is, you know, the opposite of, you know, the Most High saying like I'm not. What am I, an animal? When we act like this, it's like we acting like animals. You understand? Like we literally acting out here like we don't have no sense or no minds to be able to tell different from right and wrong. Like right from the beginning, when the Most High said, you know, he made us in his image, we were supposed to be different from animals. You know what I mean? We're supposed to be able to decipher between right and wrong to be able to make good decisions. And if we don't, it's exactly how we're behaving. Right? Yeah. So how are we doing? Oh, it's 9 o'clock now. I guess with that, do you have any more questions on Africville? I know we had a short class. Yeah. All right, Thawada. So with that, I'm gonna end the class. Thawada for tuning in. Shalom, brothers. Y'all Bashim Shabrak Thumb. Shalom to the sisters. Y'all Shema Thumb Bashim Shai. Thawada for tuning in. Again, make sure you like, share, subscribe. All right, with that, I'm gonna say shalom. Let's clap it up.